Welcome to Butterflies of Wisdom, everyone. It's finally quiet, so we can finally have an interview in peace. Thank you guys for putting up with my shenanigans of the past week, and you guys will be hearing this episode on Thursday, which is fine, putting it up today. But today with me, I have Gabriella. Gabriella is the founder of Explore Your Own Journey. And so without further ado, I'm going to let Miss Gabriella take it away and explain what Explore Your Own Journey is and what she does and how she got into all this good stuff.
Well, sure. I am founder of Exploratory Journeys, and what we do is really bring the beauty of travel to people who want to see the world in a very different way. So the journeys that we create are more immersive, more authentic, and really allow people to live the life in the destination where they are or where they are traveling. So basically, we're not generally the people you call if you want to maybe take a beach vacation or go to Disney. You know, there's wonderful people that can help with that. But the way we can really help is when somebody's looking for a soulful journey to change their life. So perhaps they want to trace their ancestral roots, or they want to do an extreme adventure sport. You know, they want to skydive in Dubai, or they want to hella hike in New Zealand, or they want to, you know, go and live with a family in Vietnam and learn how to cook. You know, and learn local customs. And we can do those types of things. And people want to make their own wine. They want to spend a week in Tuscany with a master chef and learn how to cook. These are the types of things that we do, really to kind of, you know, have someone spend their time meaningfully in a destination and really kind of leave a footprint on their soul, if that makes sense.
And I hate to do this to you, but I'm going to do it to you anyway because that's just the person I am. What has been your favorite cultural trip you have been on since starting this company?
Oh boy. Well, you know, I've been traveling all my life, so it's a tough question. But thank you for asking, because I always love to talk about it. But I mean, I'm fortunate to be able to travel to Africa quite often, different parts. More specifically, I'd say the most meaningful place I've ever traveled to is South Africa, for various reasons. You know, it's not only about the wildlife and the connection that you make with animals, whether it's safari or, you know, through conservation projects where you really can understand more about wildlife and how important their protection is. But really the people that you meet, I've met some of the most kind souls, the people that have changed my life the most. Have been really in that destination, and I am fortunate enough to work very closely with a children's home in South Africa, and that's been a meaningful part of my life for about 10 years. So that's always very special as well.
It's so funny you say that because I have a girlfriend who actually did 2 weeks teaching, 2 weeks teaching in South Africa. And in that 2 weeks, she also did medical care. And she said the exact same thing you did. She goes, these are the most kind people I have ever met in my life. And I want to save enough money to go back and do the same experience. And so I think, that being said, I think they have a greater perspective on life because they have nothing. So when they see Americans come in, it's like they get the books, they get the medical care, they get everything else. So that's why I asked you what is your favorite country you have traveled to since starting this company.
Sure. No, that makes sense, and that's a huge part of it for us. You know, is giving back, and you find so many places. I mean, there's a lot of places around the world with great need, but I just always find that kind of impacts my life more than anything.
So, okay, now I'm going to ask the next tricky question. Did you have a job in corporate America and say, I'm done with corporate America, or did something impactful happen in your life to have you start this travel company?
Well, it's a really good question. Actually, it was funny. I wasn't really meaning to be in travel. I just, my parents were in travel, so it was a kind of always in my background and always in my life. And I wanted to go into a completely other career. I wanted to actually go into journalism and be a writer. And I just wound up, I wasn't fine. And TV news actually specifically, and then also print. And I wasn't really sure exactly where I wanted to land, so I took a job in the meantime with a travel company. So it was quite corporate. It was the headquarters of a tour operator, and I learned a lot. So I considered it kind of boot camp, which was fine. But it was very corporate, very structured. And then I decided this environment really isn't for me. So I was able to, get my first client and then start my own company. So that's kind of where it started.
So it started in boot camp because you thought you were going to be a TV journalist, and TV journalism didn't work out, and so you had to get a job, and you got a job at Trip,
it was really hard.
and then
I just wanted to do my own thing, kind of, that's really where it started.
Yeah, because some people are cut out for corporate America, others are not.
Oh, 100%. I agree.
Like you and I. You and I were too creative for that. Except I have a corporate America teaching job once a week, and I'm slowly phasing it out, and I'm getting a degree in fashion journalism, believe it or not. So, what would be your best tips for those who want to take a vacation, but not the typical vacation?
I think your best tip is really to look at yourself and really think about what it is that you'd love to, that maybe you've always wanted to do, or maybe look at something that you feel would be a little out of your comfort zone. I get a lot of people that say, well, I want to do this, or I want to travel to, a particular destination, but they're a little bit nervous because maybe they haven't gone that far, or they want to do something aggressive and they just have not done that before. So, like a sporting type of thing, or, and they're nervous. I think the best advice is to really learn how to push yourself out of your comfort zone. And when you do that, then you're able to completely enjoy and also get the most out of a journey. I think when you're able to, separate yourself and just say, I'm going to do something that I've never thought I could do or I've never done before, those are the most beautiful types of trips. Those are when people come back and they are completely blown away by what they've experienced. And also, with things that they thought they never really could do. And, especially when people come back and they have volunteered perhaps in a place, or they went skiing on a really aggressive mountain that they never thought they could conquer. I think those are the best ways for me to help people get the most out of their travel.
Now, how do you set up lodging in all these exotic places? Do you use sites like Airbnb or Vacation Home by Owner? Or how does one set up lodging with you guys?
Well, we take care of the booking. We really kind of spend a lot of time on that with clients because everybody's different. So we don't generally use things like Airbnb because those are very particular, and those are kind of things that maybe, people may want to book themselves. The reason why they come to us generally is because they want our opinion of places that we have curated and all, in our collection, and also places that I have stayed personally. I'm really lucky to travel a lot. And when I do, I try to see as many hotels in a destination as I can. I'll stay in one, but I'll do, tours and quick inspections. And I've kind of learned how to narrow down what I feel really confident recommending to people. So when they come to us, we kind of, we figure, are they a boutique hotel person, or do they like big style hotels? Do they like chains because maybe they have a loyalty program, or do they like, villas? It really depends. And then depending on the client and the fit, then we go forward to recommend what we feel is going to work best for them.
So you recommend places that they might like.
Yes, based on their personality and their past travel and what the kind of style they like.
Well, I understand that. So you don't necessarily use vacation home owner or the local aspects. Now, I have a question. Do you do the setting up of visas as well? I know that in Africa, I know that in Russia and in Africa, it's kind of picky to get into these countries. And so countries that require a visa, I know Russia does, but Russia and the Hermitage does. But do you do the setting up of the paperwork, or do they do that as well?
No, that's something a client has to do individually. So we always are mindful of, telling them what they need, because sometimes clients just don't know where they need, entry visas when they're traveling. So we, we keep we keep very mindful, I'll put it that way, of, different requirements and with our partners on the ground. So anytime someone's going somewhere that needs a visa, we make sure that they understand that they must do this, they must process it, and then we direct them to a preferred company that we like to recommend that handles easy processing of visas for them, so they can worry.
So you guide them. You don't necessarily do the paperwork for them.
No, that's got to come from an official source.
That's got to come from them, and you're the godmother reminding them that they have to do that.
Yes, exactly, because there are some travel bookers out there that sometimes don't, but we try to look at everyone's whole journey and make sure that we are, taking care of all of the things that they might have not known or they might have forgotten.
And so my next question to you is, what is your favorite book or audio book that you can recommend to all my listeners?
Well, I'm going to be selfish and I will say my book.
Oh, geez. You have a book. You have a book?
I do, and the reason why I recommend it is because, not just because I wrote it, but really I travel very fast. I usually do very quick journeys. In fact, we have a division of our company called the 48-Hour Power Jaunt, where we develop the trip of a lifetime in various cities around the world for people who just have 2 days on the ground. So I've been sort of traveling like that all my life, and I wrote a book this year, not so much to sell travel, but really to tell some stories about lessons and life-altering moments that I experienced as a result of travel. So it's a cute read. It's full of short stories, and it may inspire people to want to go further, and really also not just to travel, but to be very present when they travel. That's a problem sometimes. People travel and they're on a bus or they're taking a tour and they're not really paying attention. It's a good way to kind of visualize how I'm able to sit down and be present when I'm traveling instead of worrying about, timing and where I'm going and the crowds and things. Yeah. Really just kind of up the atmosphere.
And while you have been traveling, what has been your biggest life lesson in all this, or your scariest moment?
I think, for me, it's so important to mix and not be afraid, talk to people when you're, of course, I always say with the caveat, be very careful and always be, with the interest of safety, but open up, smile at strangers, share a meal with a stranger or listen to their stories, be very open to the culture where you're visiting. And you can wind up meeting some really fantastic people, learning some things, and also opening yourself to new experiences that you would never think to try at home. you're generally a little bit more adventurous when you're traveling anyway than you would be here on your home soil. So I think embrace that and just don't be afraid to mix and get involved with the culture. That's my biggest, recommendation.
That's your biggest recommendation. And now, where can people find you, and where can people find your website?
Sure. It's exploratourjourneys.com, or we're also at 48hourpowerjaunt.com. So that's the number 48hourjaunt.com, and that's where people can find links to connect with me. Happy to talk travel with anybody, and we can also assist with advice and planning for anyone's next journey.
And I know you have a couple questions for me. What are they?
I guess for you, how when you're making a transition, you're making a career transition. I guess for entrepreneurs and people who are interested in that, what is maybe your biggest piece of advice when you're looking at, leaving corporate America and doing something on your own?
Well, I only decided to make this career transition last night. I've been talking about it for so many months now and I get my degree in 2019, and of course, getting the physical degree involves traveling, believe it or not. And so I think for me, it's going to be a good transition because I actually get a higher paycheck out of this degree than I ever did in teaching. And that being said, if you guys want to go help me out and buy my book, so that way I can have the financial means to produce more books, that would be wonderful. And I presume, Gab, that your book is on Amazon.
Yes, it is. It is. It's called 48 Hours. Yep. That's what it's. Yeah, it's a short read. Yep.
Please go check out Gabriella's book, and please go check out my book. But I think the best advice I can give people is to save up for those big, scary adventures that they want to take, lifelong adventures, or to save up for a clear transition.
That's really good advice on both fronts. Because you never know, you never know what's going to happen when you want to make a transition, or sometimes you're forced to make a transition. That happens to us too sometimes. And also, just to have money to be able to explore is so critical, I think, to growing your, growing
because traveling isn't cheap, as Gabby knows. Traveling isn't cheap, especially out of Aspen, Colorado. I mean, for me to get out of there, it would cost me, for two people, over $1,000. Now, granted, if I did it out of Denver International Airport, it would be just a little bit cheaper. But because I live in such a high demand resort town, that's the way it is.
Yes, I know. And so plan early, and also, it's whether you use me or anybody else, it's important to consult with someone who has good tips, like a good travel planner, because sometimes we know things that we can help you with, to find better airfares, to find better deals. That's really kind of what we
know. Exactly. Exactly. Well, I appreciate Gabby's time this morning, and I definitely appreciate you guys listening. And I will put all of Gabby's information in the show notes. And please go check out Gabby's book, and please leave a review for Gabby's book, because all that does is help her find more fans with her book, and that will increase her sales of that book. And please leave a review on my books. I, Win, I, WIN is one of them, and then if you just type in my name, Win, W-I-N, Kelly, K-E-L-L-Y, Charles, C-H-A-R-L-E-S, on Amazon. All my books should pop up, and you guys could have a field day on that. So please leave a review on any independent book you guys find, and I appreciate Gabby's time, as I said, and I definitely appreciate you guys listening, and let's share this podcast to the best of our abilities to make the Butterflies of Wisdom community even bigger and stronger. Thanks to you guys. Bye.